Now, when Steve Sharman's lovely little girl Florence was born, he quickly realised that something wasn't quite right, not with her, but with him. He found himself feeling intense feelings of anger whenever she cried, and he became frightened of his own intrusive thoughts and even feared for a moment that he could end up in prison.
Well, he sought help and he got a diagnosis, and that diagnosis might surprise you. As a father, he was suffering from postnatal depression, a condition obviously associated with women. But apparently it can affect as many as 1 in 10, particularly new fathers, first-time fathers. Well, Steve is now encouraging other men to go and get help, like he did. And he joins us now alongside his wife, Emily, and Dr. Anita Raja. Hi, welcome all. I can imagine a lot of people at home will be sucking their teeth at this and thinking quite cynical thoughts. I mean, you know, women's postnatal depression is linked to very specific female causes, hormonal changes, obviously, the trauma possibly of giving birth, problems breastfeeding at night, breaking down sleep patterns and all the rest of it. There are multiple causes and they're all to do with being a woman. So is it right to call the feelings that Ranvir just described as postnatal depression? Is that correct?
Well, it's what I experienced. I guess before Florence was born, Emily and I had information from the midwife about what to look for, obviously because it's so predominantly in women.
In women, yeah.
So when obviously the feelings I was having and the symptoms I was thinking, that's when obviously we recognised that that's what I was experiencing. It took a lot for me to accept what I was going through.
Sure.
When did it click in first? Can you just take us back? Because I feel like there will be parents at home who might not even know that perhaps the father in their family or life is suffering in a way that you are. What is it that, can you remember what happened?
I guess we brought her home 5 days after she was born from hospital. And it was just the crying. The crying really triggered something inside me, like an anger I've never felt before. I'm not an angry person. I've never been an angry person.
And you hadn't felt that hearing other babies cry, like you're in a restaurant or with friends?
No, it wasn't.
It was specifically her crying?
Yeah, her crying was it just inside me. It's quite difficult to describe, but just an anger. And if I was holding her, I just wanted to throw her, wanted to harm her. I never acted on that.
God.
But yeah, it was just wanting to, I guess, looking at it now, wanting to solve the crying. And Emily breastfed, so Florence needed Emily more from that point of view, but I just wanted to solve it, and it was just the thoughts of, just wanting to throw her.
What were these intrusive thoughts that you were getting?
Literally, in terms of her, it was literally, I could literally just throw her against the floor, against the wall, whatever. I never did. And I guess the opposite.
It must be incredibly scary to hold a baby and have that thought. You must have wanted to just put her down straight, get yourself... You're the danger.
Yeah.
You want to get out the room, whereas actually you must have, Emily, been thinking, well, where is he? What did you observe in your husband during that time?
I think those moments like that you were either listening, because I still wanted him to be with her. I still trusted him. He's her dad.
But did he tell you, or did you just notice he was acting odd?
I think a bit of both. I think as new parents, very much this is what we're going through, talking it through quite openly of, I'm exhausted, I feel like this.
Yeah, but did he actually tell you that he was fantasising about throwing her against the wall?
I think in the moments when she was really crying, it was very much I can't do this, I can't be here, I can't solve this, I'm going to do something. And then he'd say, right, you take over, nappy changes or whatever.
I can see you getting really upset.
I'm going to have a minute away.
It is horrible. We do feel enormous sympathy for you, and it's amazing that you are sharing this, because it is a horrible, horrible thing to have to talk about. But, sorry, I just noticed you were feeling... I don't want you
fine.
to... You know, it is obviously deeply, deeply traumatic for a parent.
But, Emily, when you began to understand the depth of the problem, as the mother, you must have been quite scared that your husband was having these thoughts.
Yeah, and it's scary because he has no history of any mental health. He's always been the one to me of, well, everything will be fine, we'll be OK. He's been the rock for me through other things for then it to be him. Seems so bizarre.
And it's interesting, Anita, because, you know, when we talk about the baby crying, you know, I'm a mum, we've had, you know, it's meant to be that internal response that makes you drop out. You know, you can hear 50 babies cry, but you know which one is yours. For a mother, that is, and it's in nature, it's in animals, it is meant to be there. We don't often really think about what that crying might feel like to the father. have you ever come across this before?
So it's quite interesting that we're talking about this, because we do 6 to 8 week postnatal checks, which is a mum and baby check. The baby comes in, the mother comes in, and the whole idea is that we explore how the mother's doing, how her mental health is, whether she's healing all right, whether the baby's okay.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity to touch base with the mother and the child. And I think the furthest we've gone is your partner supportive? Do you have a partner?
Is your partner supportive to you?
Yeah,
Not how is he doing?
Exactly. And I think this gives us perspective, because I think it's really important for us to look at the family as a whole, especially if it's not a single mum, if they have a partner at home, how is this affecting them? Because I was quite intrigued by the statistics that I saw yesterday. So if a mother is suffering from mental health problems, the chances of their partner suffering from mental health problems are 25 to 50% more than anyone in their age group in general population. Now, that is a big statistic.
Steve, I think it's incredibly brave of you to come on a network television programme and talk about this. Really, really brave.
Thank you.
And given that it is a syndrome that most people aren't aware of, but those who have it and are experiencing it are very aware of, I think doing what you've done is incredibly helpful, because there'll be men watching this who'll be thinking, thank God it's not just me. I'm not going crazy here. And there is help. So to talk us through the help that you got and how that helped to resolve things.
I guess the first thing was accepting what I was going through, and it was really hard to go and get help. But through my GP, he prescribed me antidepressants, and then I did some therapy. That still took time, though. It wasn't just an immediate solution. It probably took a year for me to accept who I'd become, which is really hard to. It took ages to tell family and friends. I wrote a letter to my mum and dad, and that was through help through the Pandas Foundation, who I now volunteer through. So I wrote a letter to my mum and dad.
Which foundation?
The Pandas Foundation. So they help with perinatal mental health for men and women. But I've become a volunteer to help their dads. They do some amazing work.
And when you talk to other dads who are at the beginning of this horrible journey, do they take comfort from your own story?
Yeah, it's not a case of pushing my story in their face. It's just listening to them, and then I can relate to them. And if I don't, then it's just speaking to them and making sure that they've got the right support. And it's.
Well, we've got a great picture of you there. You call her Florence, don't you? Taken in the garden. It's a lovely picture. So that implies that things are okay now.
Yeah. Florence is watching this morning, so hello, Florence. Daddy loves you lots. So she's 3 on Sunday, and she's Daddy's girl. She's my world. So I love her to bits.
And
so.
Just out of interest, do we know what triggers it in men? Is it a completely different bodily reaction to what women are feeling in postnatal depression for women? Is it something completely separate?
It definitely is, because it's a completely different way of life. It's an irreversible change that you don't anticipate. I think when we look at social media, it's all glitz and glamour. You think this baby's going to come home, it's going to be amazing, but it's a...
Yeah, they're both nodding there.
It's a non-refundable return policy. You've got to keep the baby, you've got to get on, and the baby does wake up every hour in the night initially. The baby can be colicky. It's very, very difficult.
I feel like you were prepared for that, but it was something specific about the crying that completely, in a way, you lost all rational thought in that moment. And it's the loss of rationality, because when a baby, you can take a minute and take a breather and go, whatever. But it felt like you couldn't separate out your reactions, and that's scary for a dad.
I couldn't. And then the opposite to that was a severe low depression, where I had thoughts about taking my own life.
Because you think, well, what use am I to Emily?
So just completely
terrible
no use.
Situation.
It's very overwhelming to become a new parent and a first-time parent. And I think the most important thing to also realise is that depression doesn't just manifest as you're down and you're crying, but you could become really, really angry as well. You could be frustrated as well.
Yeah, we think of depression as a quiet thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it could be that your partner is just deciding to stay at work longer, drinking, not sleeping at night, becoming very agitated, very irritated. So it's really important to take the whole picture.
So Pandas and go and see your GP is what you're
just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like obviously that was a first step. Is obviously I'm very supported to have a wonderful wife. So just go talk about it and don't feel.
Well done. You got that in there. That's quite right. He's an incredible person.
Yeah. No,
quite
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you.
And if you have been affected, I mean, you may not have realised you're being affected by these issues as a man this morning, but if you are feeling somehow that it relates to you, help and support is available at itv.com/helplines.